Okay, welcome everyone to this deep dive. We've got quite a pile of notes and articles here,
Yeah, good stack.
all focused on the roller coaster 2024-2025 European club football season.
hmm
And our job today really is to sift through all this material, pull out the key insights, the really important bits, just so you can get quickly up to speed on everything significant that happened.
That's the plan. And it was quite a season, wasn't it? You had the big names, sure, but also like these surprise teams popping up
Right.
and those big format changes we need to talk about. Plus, yeah, some really memorable moments. We've even got some specific notes here about the Polish club's experiences too.
Okay, so let's get straight into it. And I guess there's only one place to really begin, isn't there? The big finale for one competition.
Has to be.
Hmm?
The UEFA Europa League final, May 21st, 2025. San Mamés in Bilbao. What a venue.
An incredible stadium, and the teams involved, wow. You had Tottenham Hotspur, desperate, really, carrying that massive 17-year wait for a trophy.
Yeah, 17 years.
Yeah.
Since the League Cup in 2008. That's a long time.
It really is. And facing them, Manchester United, a club synonymous with European success, but trying to find their footing again after a few up and down seasons. Huge pressure on both.
Absolutely. And their journeys to the final, according to these notes, were quite interesting too. Spurs, under Postecoglou, seemed to hit a new stride.
Yeah, consistency was key. And knocking out Sevilla in the quarters, that felt like a big moment.
Huge moment. Given Sevilla's history in this competition, beating them was a real statement.
Definitely.
And then Man United, their semifinal performance gets highlighted here. A really commanding 4-1 win against Athletic Bilbao, the hosts, back at Old Trafford. Sounded like a cracker, apparently.
Rashford and Fernandes mentioned specifically.
Yeah, they were key in that win. Very entertaining match, by all accounts.
Okay, so they get to Bilbao. The final itself. Reading through this, it wasn't maybe 90 minutes of all-out attack, but it sounds like it was incredibly tense, packed with drama.
Oh, the tension was definitely there. The breakthrough, it came just before halftime, 42nd minute. Classic Spurs, really. Swift counter. Son Heung-min sets it up, and Brennan Johnson, really precise finish.
And it's interesting how the sources frame Johnson, isn't it? Like, that goal almost made him the poster boy for Spurs' whole season, their resurgence.
Yeah, he sort of became the symbol of that renewed energy.
But then the narrative really shifts, doesn't it? According to these analyses, the second half and maybe the defining moments were all about Spurs' defense. Mickey van de Ven, specifically.
Van de Ven, wow. He got named man of the match, and you can see why. There's this one moment everyone points to, 71st minute.
The Rashford shot.
Exactly. Looked at a certain goal,
Uh-huh.
and somehow Van de Ven scrambles back. Incredible goal line clearance, just unbelievable effort.
The descriptions are amazing. Save of the decade, some are calling it. That image, Van de Ven keeping the ball out, sounds like the picture of the final.
It's that kind of moment, isn't it? That clutch play that defines a final. And we could probably mention Vicario in goal, too.
Yeah, the keeper made some big saves.
He did. Crucial ones. Tactically, Spurs just seemed to lock it down after getting the lead. Protect that 1-0, and, well, it paid off.
So 1-0 Tottenham. Beyond the trophy itself, what's the significance? What does this actually mean for the club, for the fans?
Oh, it's huge. Ending that 17-year wait. Massive relief and pride for the supporters.
You'd imagine so.
And for Postecoglou, it really cements his reputation, shows he's got that blend, you know, the attacking ideas, but also the tactical nous for a tight final.
And instantly creates heroes, right?
Yeah.
Johnson with the goal, Van de Ven with that save.
Absolutely. Cult heroes overnight. Plus, and this is key, winning the Europa League means Champions League football next season.
Ah, the qualification spot.
Exactly. That unlocks serious money, makes them more attractive in the transfer market. The feeling in these sources is this could genuinely be a turning point, maybe the start of a new era for Spurs.
And for Manchester United. Just a bitter pill to swallow, I suppose.
Yeah, Ten Hag apparently admitted they just weren't clinical enough, lacked composure at the key moments. Tough loss for them after that strong semi.
Okay. And Bilbao as hosts. Seems like it went down well.
Yeah, great atmosphere at San Mamés. The Basque fans were incredible. And the organization got praised, too. Good showcase for a city maybe not always on the final hosting map.
A fitting stage, then. So pulling it all together, for you listening, why does this final matter, even if you're neutral?
Well, it's just a great story, isn't it? The drought ending, the big club faltering, those incredible individual moments like the save. It kind of captures the shifting sands, you know. Even the giants can be challenged.
Speaking of shifts, let's zoom out to the competition itself. The Europa League format, it changed quite drastically for 2024-2025.
Yes, that was a big deal all season. They completely got rid of the traditional group stage.
Or replaced it with what?
A single league table. 36 teams all in one big league.
Okay, hold on. How did that work? You didn't play everyone, surely.
No. Each team played 8 matches. But here's the twist. 8 matches against 8 different opponents drawn from across the league. A mix of 4 home, 4 away.
Right, okay. And the idea behind that was?
Well, the thinking, based on this analysis, was to try and generate more meaningful, high-stakes games right from the start. Less dead rubbers, maybe more unpredictability.
And did it work? What was the feeling?
Seems like it gained traction. The report suggests it was seen as pretty engaging because your position in that big 36-team table mattered constantly.
How did teams actually progress from that league phase then, which ran from, what, September to January?
Yeah, September 24 to January 25, mostly Thursdays.
Huh?
So the top 8 teams in the final standings went straight into the round of 16, automatic qualification.
Okay.
Then the teams finishing 9th down to 24th, they entered a playoff round. 2 legs, head-to-head, to decide who else joined the top 8 in the last 16. Teams below 24th were out.
Got it. So who are the standout teams in this new league format?
Well, you had some familiar names doing well. Sevilla, no surprise there. They know this competition inside out. They seem strong again.
Right.
Inter Milan, coming in as Serie A champions, looked really potent offensively. Lautaro Martinez, Barella, they were driving forces.
And Atletico Madrid, always tough in Europe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Simeone's team, you know what you get. Tactical discipline, killer on the counter. Their clashes with Sevilla and Inter were apparently key games that really shaped the top of that table.
Any surprises? Teams punching above their weight?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That seemed to be a feature.
Mm-hmm.
Anderlecht and Freiburg are mentioned here as performing really well, upsetting bigger names.
Oh, okay.
And you had teams like Karabakh, Ludogorets, from leagues that don't always get the spotlight, delivering some memorable upsets along the way. That's part of the format's appeal, maybe.
It sounds like the league phase itself became more of a main event, not just a preliminary stage.
I think so. It gave teams from, let's say, smaller leagues a real platform. 8 different high-profile opponents, potentially. And for the bigger clubs dropping down, maybe from the Champions League, it was a serious test of depth over those months. Every single point mattered for seeding or qualification.
Led to rotation, maybe? Unexpected results?
Yeah, exactly. Teams had to juggle squads, which probably fueled some of those upsets we saw.
It's amazing how a structure change can ripple through everything. For you listening, does this sound like a better way to run it? More exciting?
It certainly brought a different kind of tension right from the start.
Okay, let's widen the lens again. Put the Europa League into the bigger picture of European football for that season.
Right, because the Champions League was running alongside it, obviously still the absolute top prize.
And importantly, it adopted the same format change, right?
Exactly the same. 36 teams, single league table, 8 matches against different opponents. Kicked off in September 24 as well.
And the usual suspects dominated the headlines there.
Pretty much. Real Madrid, Bayern, Man City, PSG. They were the ones grabbing most of the attention, as you'd expect.
But were there hints of challenges? New faces making noise?
Yeah, the reports do mention that. Young talents like Lamine Yamal at Barcelona, Cole Palmer at Chelsea really stepping up, and teams like RB Leipzig, PSV Eindhoven, proving they could compete with the absolute elite.
And before all that league phase action even began, back in August 24, you had the qualifiers. Always a bit chaotic.
Yeah, loads of drama there for the Europa League and the Conference League places. High stakes right at the start of the season. Teams like Shamrock Rovers, Ferencvaros, FC Copenhagen are mentioned as having exciting runs or tough battles just to get into the main draw.
And the Conference League, the third competition. Still growing.
Definitely gaining traction. It's becoming a really important platform, especially for clubs from leagues that maybe don't often get European group stage football. Gives them experience, a shot at success.
Any teams standing out there in 24-25?
Başak here from Turkey and Molde from Norway were highlighted as being strong contenders in that year's Conference League. Shows its reach.
So you really have this, ecosystem, don't you? The pinnacle of the Champions League, the really strong challenge of the Europa League with its new format, and then the Conference League offering broader opportunity.
Yeah, multiple tiers, multiple pathways for clubs across the whole continent.
Okay, let's drill down now into something specific from the source material. The Polish perspective on the season.
Right. The note suggests it was a bit of a mixed bag for Polish clubs in Europe in 2024-2025.
Some disappointments highlighted.
Yeah, Wisła Krakow, for instance, had hopes in the Conference League qualifiers, but went out early against Rapid Vienna.
Ouch. And the bigger names. Legia Warsaw, Rakow, Częstochowa.
They were involved in qualifiers for both the Champions League and Europa League, but the reports say neither managed to break through into those main league stage formats.
So the takeaway from the sources seems pretty blunt then.
Yeah, the conclusion drawn here is that these results kind of underline the gap that still persists between the Polish Ekstraklasa and, say, the average standard needed to consistently compete in the main phases of these European competitions.
But there was a note of optimism, too. Something about the national team.
Yeah, a counterpoint mentioned is that looking ahead to June 2025, the focus for Polish fans might shift a bit towards the national team, with World Cup qualifiers and Nations League games coming up. So maybe some hope on the international front.
It's interesting, that contrast. Club-level struggles, but national team focus shifting. It really shows the different layers of football experience across Europe.
Absolutely. It's not just about the Giants winning trophies. It's about all these different struggles and ambitions in leagues all over the continent.
So wrapping up this deep dive then, the picture we get from all these sources, it's one piece called it a tapestry of contrasts. I liked that.
That sums it up well. You had the dominant forces, but also these genuine surprises, the drama of the qualifiers, historical moments.
And the Europa League really standing out, not just for that nail-biting final in Bilbao, but also because of that big, bold format change they implemented.
Which seemed to largely land pretty well based on this material.
Yeah. So we've tried to pull out the threads, connect the dots based on everything we had in front of us, hopefully giving you a clear picture of the season.
Hopefully.
So here's a final thought, something for you to maybe chew on based on all this. We saw teams like Spurs ending these really long waits for trophies. We saw new formats trying to shake things up. Does this past season give us any clues about the real future potential for clubs, outside that absolute top financial tier, to actually break through and consistently challenge the established powers in European football? Or was it just a blip?
That's a great question to ponder as we look ahead.
Indeed. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive today.